So let's have a look at the boundary and wipeout tools. So I'll start with the boundary tool, and here we have the simple drawing. Now in this case, let's say that we want to find the area of this region. So obviously we can use the area tool, and that's an efficient way, but still we have an alternate way of doing that, and that's by creating the boundary. So here on the draw panel, when you expand this hatch flyout, you'll see this boundary option. Select it, and now you'll see this boundary creation option. Now we have a pick point here, and also we have the object type. So here in the object type, select polyline, and now select this pick point and click at this point. Now when you click at this point, you'll notice that this complete area will be highlighted. So that's the boundary which will be created. Now press enter, and we have a boundary. Now click on this boundary, and the boundary is highlighted. It's now selected, and you can find the area of this complete polyline to find the area of this region. And you can simply do that by going to the property palette. So right click, go to the properties and scroll it down, and here we have the area, which is 3662.305 square units, and also the perimeter or the length of this complete boundary. So that's quite an easy way of finding the area, and there are also many other applications of this boundary tool. Also, you can use this geometry separately, so you can click on this boundary, move it elsewhere, and you can use it. Similarly, you can create a boundary with the region tool. So in this case, the boundary has been created with polyline, as you can see on the tooltip. Now I'll select the same boundary tool, and this time I'll change the object type to region. Now click on the pick point, and this time I'll select this pick point, press enter. Now we have a region boundary, and obviously you can move it using this grip, and here also you can find the area using the property palette. So we have the area and perimeter and also the boundary, so you can use any of these methods. So let's now erase both of these boundaries. In AutoCAD, the hatch patterns have a unique property of avoiding any object which is already present in the island. For example, here we have this text. Now I'll apply a hatch pattern on this island or in this area. For that, I'll select the hatch tool and select this NC31 pattern and click on this area. Now when you click on this area, you'll notice that the hatch will completely ignore the area which is covering this text. In that way, the text will remain legible against the background. Now click on this close hatch creation, and here we have the hatch. Now what if you decide to make this text after creating the hatch? In that case, the hatch will completely overlap the text, and for those cases you can use the wipeout tool. So let's create a hatch here, and then we'll copy this text here. So go to the hatch tool and click on this area, and let's change the color of this hatch to green in order to clearly separate both of these hatches, and click on close hatch creation. Now we'll copy this text on this area or on this hatch. So select the copy tool, click on the text, press enter, move it on this area. Now we don't have any clear boundaries here, and obviously the text is not very clearly visible against the hatch background. So there are a couple of ways to make it very clear, and in order to remove these hatches along the boundary of this text, you can use the wipeout feature. So before using the wipeout feature, I'll make a rectangle. So go to the rectangle and create a rectangular boundary around this text. So this text boundary will be used for clearing up the hatches. Now select the wipeout tool. So expand the draw panel and select the wipeout tool from here. Now we have an option here, which is polyline. Select this polyline and select the polyline here, and here we have an option of erasing the polyline. So whether we want to erase the polyline or not, you can select it here. I'll select yes, we want to erase the polyline. So now the hatch patterns are clear, but we still have a problem. The text is not visible, and in order to bring this text in the front of hatch and in order to make it visible, we need to change its draw order. So select the text. When you'll move your cursor, you'll see that the text will be highlighted, and you can select it. Now type draw order and press enter. Now we need to move it to the front. So simply select this front option, and here we have it. The text is now visible. Now there are also other ways of clearing the area. So I'll select this rectangle and I'll erase it. And simply by erasing the rectangle, we can again bring back the hatches. Now I'll go to this wipeout tool once again, and now I'll create a frame around this text. So you can simply click on different points to create the frame. You don't need to necessarily have a frame or a polyline. And here we have it. Now simply press enter, and here we have the wipeout region. And in this case also, in order to bring it to the front, you need to select the text and change its draw order. So select the draw order, click on front. Here we have the text. Now the frame is visible in these cases. Now if you want to hide these frames also from the drawing area, you can use wipeout frame system variable. So type wipeout frame, press enter, and now change its value to 0. And we don't have any frame boundary here. So in this way, you can change the values of the system variable to make this wipeout frame even more visible. So that was all about wipeout and boundary tools.